Shakespeare was not meant to be read. It was meant to be seen and heard.
To be or not to be, that is the question.
So often, people are lost when they look at the words on the page. But when they're recited, when they're spoken, it makes so much more sense. And you can often get context much better that way than just reading it. So we really believe in the power of getting students to speak the language of Shakespeare.
I had no judgment when to her I swore.
Oh, none. In my mind, now you give it.
Shakespeare is no longer a required part of the curriculum for Texan students. So you're lucky if you get introduced to a Shakespeare play. And for those students that don't have access to those, works, we can come into the classroom and introduce them to the big themes and ideas and who Shakespeare was and the cultural importance of these works.
Fear him not, Caesar. He's not dangerous. He is a noble Roman and well given.
Shakespeare understands us. You see these people fighting, these young people fighting, and they're in love with each other and they're fighting, and that's what we do.
The more that students get to tap into the different genres and different facets of literature, the more students will appreciate literature and maybe even love it. I could have 2 kids that really love Shakespeare because of this unit. And how cool is that, and planting that seed. When they went around, 95% of them liked it and liked Shakespeare. And that's worth taking the risk.
We're tailoring the content and the approach of the workshop to the class. A workshop for a 7th grade public school audience is going to be really different than a workshop for an 11th grade private school audience, right? That's been studying Shakespeare for years.
In the educational process, teachers are not really taught how to teach Shakespeare, and they find it intimidating, so they often just skim through it as fast as they can.
I have students that have dysgraphia. I have students that start in 7th grade telling me they hate to read, and so putting Shakespeare in front of them is super daunting.
Nay, don't go Nay, go not back.
The language is unfamiliar and students, they resist, right? So as part of the workshop, what our actors will do is they'll do the scene or the soliloquy using the classic language from the play.
Through Athens, I thought as fair as she. But what of that? Demetrius thinks not so. He will not know.
And then they'll do the scene again using a paraphrasing technique, where they're just using the words that you and I use every day or students use every day and paraphrasing the intention of Shakespeare's words.
He doesn't know what everyone else feels. He doesn't know what it feels like to have a crush and want that affection. Everyone else seems to know.
I think that's just like an icebreaker to be like, here's a monologue or a soliloquy from the show that you just read as a class, and do you understand it? And do you feel excited or engaged by this? And then to break them up into smaller groups and hand over the words to them.
Hate me. Why? Oh me, what news? My love.
Oh, who are you talking to now? Yeah.
My best.
There's always like a moment within every class where it feels like they get it. It might mean that they like it and then they love it and they, find it and they have it their whole lives. And I saw that several times today, where it was like, oh, they're excited about Shakespeare, and that matters.
I say I love you more than he does. If you say so, withdraw and prove it to them.
The ability, in terms of literature, being able to read and write, yes, there is going to be artificial intelligence that's going to make both of those tasks a lot easier, but nothing's going to replace that feeling that someone gets when they read a book they love or find an author that they love.
Because it's ownership, right? Because so often, you know, the one thing that students will say is like, oh, the language, you know, it's old, I don't understand it. But once you do speak it, once you get it in your mouth and you get it out of your mouth and you get it into your body and your breath and you start acting it, you know, to that other person, there's ownership. It's not something sacred, it's something just between us.